Every single minute, one man somewhere in the world dies by suicide. Every single minute. That's over 500,000 men per year taking their lives. And that number is way too high. And in this video, I want to talk about why men don't feel like they can speak up, why men decide to stay silent, and what we can do as a society, both men and women, because this isn't just a male issue, this is a societal issue. And we need to make a change, and we need to make a change quickly, because too many men and too many people globally are taking their lives to suicide because they don't know what to say. They don't know how to speak up. And there's not enough support there for those people who don't know how to speak up. So let's dive into it then. Why do men stay silent? Why do men feel like they can't speak up? They can't express that they're struggling a little bit or that they need a bit of help. Why is it? Listen, it's pretty simple. A lot of the time, it's due to social pressures, social conditioning, psychology. And what do I mean by that? I mean stigma. I mean the fear of being judged. I mean the shame of expressing a little bit of weakness. The things that people say in society these days, you know, you're weak for showing a bit of emotion. Real men don't cry. Something I've seen recently is men used to go to war. Now look at them. And you wonder why men end up taking their own lives. When they hear things like that, it's all social pressures. And it's not just social media, it's just in general, just the society that we live in. Men are seen as weak if they decide to speak up. But then men are also seen as weak if they take their own lives. So for a lot of men, they don't know what to do. And that's what it's about. Men do not know what to say. They don't know who to speak to. They don't want to speak to anyone because they think that they're going to get judged and be seen as weak. And then what happens is that they end up going into that hole and they don't know how to get out of it. And a lot of time for some men, unfortunately, over 500,000 of them a year, is that they end up taking their life because they think that there is no way out. But there is. There is. And all it takes is us as a society breaking this stigma around men and men's mental health. Look, men and women have struggles mentally. But the reason that the number is so much higher in men is that they don't know how to express those emotions and those feelings. Whereas women are a lot more likely to speak up. They're a lot likely to seek therapy, to do things that allow them to understand themselves better and understand those emotions and feelings. Whereas for men, I know a lot of men that therapy would be the last thing that they would ever consider because to them, they think that they would be judged for that and they think that they'll be weak for that. And that has come from society. And it's as simple as that. The sayings that we have, the judgment, it comes from society. And that's something that needs to change. We need to break that stigma because men need to feel okay speaking about their feelings and their emotions. All this toxic masculinity, all of that stuff. It's not benefiting anyone. And it's not benefiting men at all. Listen, there are things that men can do every day to feel better. You know, things like moving your body, going to the gym. Things like journaling for a more mental and emotional. But at the end of the day, sometimes that isn't enough for some people. They try these things. They try journaling. They try going for walks. They try going to the gym. But sometimes that's not enough. And sometimes what we need to do is speak up and speak about how we're feeling. Look, I'm struggling. Some people just saying that. Just saying to your mate, being comfortable saying to your mate that I am struggling. I do need some help. And I'm sorry, maybe that does sound weak. Even saying things like that, I'm sorry, maybe it does sound a little bit weak, but mate, I'm struggling. And having people there to understand that that's okay. Look, mate, I wish you told me sooner. What is it that you're struggling with? What do you need help with? Okay, maybe I'm not a qualified therapist. I'm not able to help you. But I think, look, mate, you should seek therapy. You should go and speak to someone who is qualified, who can help you. And that's all it takes. Is having someone there to just listen to you and to just help you when you do need it. Because if men were like this, if the people around men, their partners, their family, were able to just give them a safe space to speak and they felt comfortable doing so because society hasn't conditioned them into thinking that it's weak to speak up, then a lot more men would be saved and a lot more lives would be saved as a result of this. So that right there, for those of you who are listening, and I hope that a lot of you are and have stayed since hearing those figures, that's one thing that we need to change. The social pressures around men and men's mental health. And it's not just social pressures. It's not just social conditioning. There are other things as well. It comes again with the way that the world is these days. So a lot of society and the world these days is built on instant gratification, isn't it? You know, you can watch your favourite series, you can watch your favourite film, you can get your favourite meal, you can get junk food, you can do things within seconds that give you that quick boost of dopamine. And a lot of these things that you can do in seconds tend to be things that make you feel worse in the long term. And that's because, unfortunately, a lot of the things that do make you feel good and do give you purpose and make you feel better mentally and physically take a long time. And you can see that, for example, building a business, a successful business, it doesn't happen overnight. Building the body of your dreams, it doesn't happen overnight. That's what leads a lot of people to do what I like to call numbing. And it's pretty simple. Behaviours like dealing with your anxiety, dealing with your grief, dealing with your depression by doing things like ordering a takeaway, ordering junk food, doing behaviours that you know probably are not going to be too good for you, but in the short term, they might make you feel good. And what does that lead to? It leads to things like addiction. It leads to things like numbing behaviours that you do every single day that you know are not good for you. But instead of going to the gym, instead of going for a walk, you'll do those things because they make you feel good in the short term. And all that is you numbing the thing that you know you need to speak about. And that's another reason why men don't speak up. Because rather than speaking up and talking about it, they'd numb it, keep it down, deep down, just biting away at them every single day. But if they numb it quickly, then they don't have to speak about it. And again, that links back to men not knowing what to do with those feelings that are deep within, not knowing how to speak up, not feeling like they can speak up. And it links back to the social conditioning again. So look, I've experienced what probably potentially a lot of you listening have experienced. I've lost people close to me. I've been through a grief journey myself. I've struggled with anxiety my whole life, from when I used to play football to a very good standard at a young age, and I didn't know what to do. I was doing, before games, feeling sick, sometimes even throwing up before games because I couldn't deal with the anxiety. I've had my issues, and I still have my issues, as you will going through life. But the reason I'm telling you this is, one, to show you that it's okay to be vulnerable and to speak about things, because it helps you to navigate your life better and deal with these things. But two, to explain and show you that I've been there too, numbing it, ignoring it, not dealing with it, putting it to the side. And all that does, and all that did to me, was make it come out later in life in ways that I didn't want it to. After I lost my dad 4 years ago now, I started social media. And more recently, having thought about things and been going through life and thinking, you know, I'm on the right path and struggling a bit, losing myself a bit. Speaking up, speaking to someone about it has made me realise that what I was doing is what I'm speaking about today. I was just ignoring it. The stuff that was deep down not been dealt with, I was ignoring it. I wasn't speaking about it and expressing and understanding myself. And instead, I would create content. I would run marathons. I would do high roxes. And all that I was doing with those things was, yes, it made me feel good physically and mentally. But in the long term, it made me feel lost because I was just numbing it and ignoring the deep-rooted issues that hadn't been discussed. And if you do that for a long enough period of time, it can eat away at you and it can make you feel worse in the long run. What I'm trying to say to you here is, I've been there. I've had these problems. I've seen it firsthand from other people. I know how not speaking about things, keeping it all bottled up, can impact a person and ruin a person's life. And for me now, that's flipped a switch, and it's why I'm creating videos like this. So listen, I've spoken a lot about being vulnerable, about why we need to tackle this problem, about why there is a problem, but how do we fix it? Look, it's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately, but like I said, it needs to happen as quick as possible. And there are simple things that we can do. First and foremost, talk to someone. That is the biggest thing that we can do. As an individual who is struggling, for yourself, talk to someone. Do not feel like, as a man, it's weak. Do not feel like saying that you're struggling is weak. Do not feel like anyone is going to judge you as a result of seeking therapy, saying it to a mate, to your family, because it is not weak. And that is the first and most important way that we can solve this issue. It's just simply by talking to someone. So feel comfortable doing it. The second point is from society and from others. And that's checking in on your people. Check in on your mates. Check in on your family. Sometimes it takes two, how are you doing? And what I mean by that is, you might say to your friend, how are you? Say, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm okay, as we all do. But say to them, no, listen, mate, how are you actually feeling? Because if you actually genuinely ask someone that, they are going to be way more likely to say, actually, mate, I am struggling a little bit. If you just say to someone, how are you? Of course, the human response and the natural response we all give is, I'm okay, I'm fine. Because we don't want to put a burden on you straight away. But if you genuinely make someone feel comfortable and feel like they can speak to you and express their problems by saying, no, listen, how are you actually genuinely feeling? That's going to give them an opportunity to say how they actually are feeling. So check in on your people all the time, because you never know who's going through it. The people who are smiling and you think that they're doing okay, they might be the ones deep down that are struggling the most. So double check on those people. It kind of links to the first point, but the third point is share honestly. What I mean by that is if someone does ask you, does do that and say, you know, how are you genuinely feeling? Be honest. Just tell them, look, mate, I'm going to be honest with you. I am struggling a little bit here. I have a lot on my plate. I'm trying to navigate everything. I'm trying to, provide for my family. I'm trying to stay on track with work. I'm trying to keep up with my friends, but I'm just struggling. Be honest about it. As cringe as the saying is, honesty is the best policy. And if you are honest to your friend or to your family member about it, they can help you. If you're not honest, no one can help you. The next one is more so for the individual, what you can do. Because look, at the end of the day, it is an issue. It's a big issue. But if we are struggling and we don't do anything to help ourselves, then it's going to be very difficult for us to get out of that hole. So what I mean is, do things that are going to help you and not things that are going to numb the pain. So rather than staying at home, scrolling through TikTok, Netflix, lying down in bed, lying on the sofa, I know it's tough, but try and do things like move your body. And you don't have to go into the gym and do a full body workout or something that you're not too clued up on. It can be something as simple as starting with 10, 20 press-ups a day, sit-ups. It can be going for a walk. It can be going for a cycle, playing sport with your friends. Just moving your body in a way that feels natural and good for you is absolutely massive. It also comes from food. If you're fueling your body wrong and with junk food and things that make you feel good in the short term, chocolate, sweets, all day, and that's the majority of your diet, it's going to make you feel worse again. So food, fuel your body with good, whole, nutrient-dense foods the majority of the time, and notice how much better you will feel both physically and mentally. It's all about healthy habits. If you're doing unhealthy habits, you're going to make your mental health even worse, because you're doing things like drinking, you're doing things like smoking, eating bad food, not moving your body at all, lying down at home, and all you're doing is numbing the pain, and you're not doing anything that's going to make you feel better. So it all stems from doing things that make you feel good, and those are healthy habits. So that's the next thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is create a space and environment around you, good routines, good people, having that safe space that you feel like I can speak and I can talk to people in this environment. And having that safe space, whether it's a friend that you know you can turn to, whether it's going to therapy because that's where you feel most comfortable talking about things, having that safe space for you is going to help you massively. So create the routines that work for you. And once you do those things, it's going to make a massive difference. So that's what we need to do to make changes. And as much as it's down to the individual, it's also down to others. It's down to people checking in. It's down to more being done about this and being said. It's down to more people speaking up and saying that this is an issue and we need to fix it. So look, it's a responsibility of the individual, but it's also the responsibility of society to make men feel more comfortable to speak up, to give them the opportunity to speak up, to teach them how to express their feelings. Because that's one thing that men don't know. A lot of men do not have the emotional intelligence to express their feelings and speak about it because they've never been taught how to. Men have never been really taught about this as well. And that's another way that society has messed up and has failed because men don't know what to say. People tell them to speak up. People say, talk, speak to me, but they don't know what to say. And that's another way that we need to be better and we need to make changes. As much as other people around us can help us, sometimes we do need to take responsibility ourselves. It's tough. Look, life is tough. Speaking about things as a man is tough. Seeking help, saying that you're struggling a bit is tough. I get it. But it's a lot tougher if you don't speak about it. It's a lot tougher if you end up being another one of those 500,000. For you, of course, but also for the people around you. You're not alone. You are never alone. Even though you may feel like you are alone, you may feel like a burden, you may feel like you speaking up is just going to add more pressure onto someone around you. That's what people around you are there for. That's what humanity is there for, connection. We're all still human at the end of the day. And if you go to someone and say that you're struggling, if you don't feel comfortable saying it to a family member, a friend, then seek professional help. Because I promise you that although you may think, I don't know what I'm going to say, when you are in a room with someone or when you're having a coffee with someone, it will just come out. And that's when you can deal with these problems and you can become the best version of yourself as a result of that. So feel comfortable speaking up and go for it. From experience, it's one of the best things that you can do. If you have been watching this the whole way through and this has resonated with you, you do feel lost, you do feel numb, you do feel alone, like you can't say anything, like you can't speak up, you feel broken, you feel failed as a man, or you feel like if you do speak up, I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be seen as weak. That's not a strong thing for me to do if I do speak to someone. I want you to know that you should speak up. You should feel comfortable speaking. To someone that you feel comfortable speaking to, you should do that. For you and for those around you. And for those people around those people, the biggest thing that you can do for someone around you who you think potentially might have some issues but they're not speaking about it is allow them to feel comfortable too. Because this is a big issue. It needs sorting as soon as possible. We need to make changes. And it starts from us speaking about it as men. It starts from society and everyone else, men and women, allowing men to speak up and feeling comfortable too. It starts from people above and people who have power to make the impact and make the campaigns about this. More needs to be done for men's mental health. It's as simple as that. But I need you to know as a man who's watching this or someone who's going to speak to a man or tell them to watch this, that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to speak, to express your feelings, to say that you are struggling. You're not going to be seen as weak. If anything, you're going to be seen as strong because you've taken the step to start your healing process. And by starting that healing process, you're going to become a much better man for it. You're going to become a stronger man, a more resilient man, someone who knows how to express their emotions. Your relationships will get better, your career will get better, but most importantly, you will be around to live your life to the fullest. And that's what I want you to take from this video. I know all too well that life is too short, but it doesn't need to be shorter than it's going to be for you. You can have one of the most beautiful, one of the best lives, because you know what? You've gotten through every tough thing to this day. You're still here. You survived yesterday. You're here today, and you're going to be here tomorrow. You're going to be okay. Keep going. Speak up. Let's do more to break the silence, to break the stigma, because silence doesn't save you. Connection does. Speaking up does. Let's break this stigma. Enough is enough. Too many lives have already been taken, and it needs to be stopped. We need to make change now.